As the celebrations continued, Femi's resentment grew. He felt overshadowed by his younger brother. "I know Kuti is strong, but why must he always be the favorite?" he muttered under his breath. Yemi's thoughts were a storm of conflicting emotions. He loved his brother, but the jealousy was hard to ignore. He wanted recognition, respect, and the chance to lead. Femi decided to keep his feelings to himself for the time being. He didn't want to spoil the joy of the villagers or cause trouble for his brother. But inside, he was planning his next move, thinking of ways to prove his worth. "I will find a way to show them that I deserve to be king," Femi thought, determined to change his fate. Days passed, and Kuti started to learn the ways of leadership. Femi watched from the sidelines, helping where he could, but always feeling like he was in his brother's shadow. His feelings of jealousy and frustration grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as they sat around the fire, Amma noticed Femi's distant look. She approached him gently. "Femi, I see something is troubling you. Share your burden with me," she said kindly. Femi hesitated, then sighed. "I feel like I am being left behind. Kuti is getting all the praise, and I am just his shadow," he admitted. Ami nodded understandingly. "Your feelings are valid, Femi. But remember, you are both important to this village. Your time to shine will come." The next morning, Kuti was busy with preparations for his coronation. He felt both excited and nervous about becoming king. Suddenly, Femi approached him with a serious look on his face. "Kuti, I want to be king instead of you," Femi said firmly. Kuti was shocked. "Why, Femi? The villagers chose me because I saved them from the giant. You didn't do anything that day. You just stood there like a statue," Kuti replied, confused. "How dare you speak to me like that? I am your elder brother. I should be the one to decide," Femi shouted. "If you don't give up the position to me on the day of your coronation, I will harm myself, and it will be your fault. You will be held responsible." Kuti felt a heavy weight in his chest. "Femi, please don't do this. You're my brother. I don't want anything bad to happen to you," he pleaded. But Femi was determined. "I'm serious, Kuti. I can't stand being ignored anymore. This is your last warning." After Femi left, Kuti felt uneasy. He found Amma and told her what Femi had said. "Amma, I'm worried about Femi. He wants my position as king. He even threatened to harm himself if I don't give him the throne." Amma's face grew serious. "This is troubling, Kuti. We need to talk to him and find a solution," she said. Amma called for Femi. When he arrived, she spoke to him firmly. "Femi, why are you doing this? Kuti saved the village from the giant. You should be proud of him." But Femi's face was filled with anger. "I am serious, Amma. I need to be king. I am older than Kuti. The villagers must accept me," he shouted, and left them angrily. Amma and Kuti decided to gather the elders and explain the situation. "Femi feels that he should be king and he's very upset," Kuti said. The elders listened carefully. One of them suggested, "Maybe we can find a way to honor both of you. This way, Femi will feel valued too." The elders then called for Femi. When Femi arrived, they spoke kindly but firmly. "Femi, we understand your feelings. We want to honor both you and Kuti. Please reconsider," an elder pleaded. But Femi was not moved. "I want to be king, and that's final. I don't have time for old fools like you," he shouted. Then he stormed out, leaving the elders stunned. Kuti felt a heavy burden on his heart. He saw how serious Femi was about being king. He loved his brother and didn't want to see him in pain. Kuti thought long and hard about what to do. One evening, Kuti went to Amma and said, "Amma, I have decided. I will give Femi my position as king. I cannot bear to see him so unhappy." Amma looked at Kuti with surprise and admiration. "Are you sure, Kuti? This is a big sacrifice," she said. "Yes, Amma. If it will bring peace and happiness to Femi, then it is worth it," Kuti replied with determination. Kuti called for Femi and spoke to him calmly. "Brother, I have decided to give you the position of king. I want you to be happy," Kuti said. Femi was taken aback. He didn't expect Kuti to agree so easily. "Really? You will do that for me?" he asked. His voice full of surprise. "Yes, Femi, you are my brother, and I love you. I want us to be at peace." Femi's eyes softened for a moment, but then he remembered his anger and pride. "Good. It's about time you saw sense," he said, though a part of him felt guilty. The news of the change spread quickly through the village. The villagers were surprised but respected Kuti's decision. They began to prepare for Femi's coronation. The elders, though worried about Femi's attitude, supported Kuti's choice. They hoped that once Femi became king, he would understand the true meaning of leadership. The day of Femi's coronation arrived. The village was decorated beautifully, and everyone gathered to witness the ceremony. Femi stood proudly, ready to take his place as king. Kuti watched from the sidelines with Amma. He felt a mix of sadness and hope. He hoped that this decision would bring peace to his brother and their village. As the new king, Femi began his duties with enthusiasm, but he soon realized that being king was not as easy as he thought. The villagers came to him with many problems, seeking his guidance. As more and more villagers came to Femi with their problems, he began to feel overwhelmed. Every day, people lined up outside the palace, seeking his guidance. At first, Femi tried to help, but soon he grew frustrated. "What is wrong with these people? Must they bring all their problems to me? I'm tired of this. They are so dumb," Femi muttered angrily to himself. Feeling desperate, Femi decided to call Kuti for help. "Kuti, can you come and help me with these villagers' problems?" Femi asked, hoping his brother would assist him. But to his surprise, Kuti shook his head. "No, Femi. You wanted my position as king, and now you have it. Why are you complaining? You ungrateful soul," Kuti said firmly, leaving Femi stunned. Femi's mouth hung open in shock. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Kuti's words hit him hard, and he realized how unprepared he was for the responsibilities of being king. The villagers noticed Femi's frustration and began to worry. They had hoped for a strong and capable leader, but Femi's anger and impatience made them doubt his abilities. Feeling betrayed by Kuti's refusal to help, Femi's anger boiled over. He decided to make Kuti pay for his stubbornness. "If he won't help me, then he will serve me," Femi declared. Femi sent his guards to Kuti's house. They forcefully dragged Kuti to the palace, where Femi made him a slave. Kuti was given food only once a day and was forced to serve his brother. Amma, seeing the injustice, approached Femi to plead for Kuti's release. "Femi, please, let Kuti go. This isn't right," she begged. But Femi's heart was hardened. "Guards, seize her," he commanded. Amma was thrown into the palace cell, her pleas for mercy ignored. The village elders, their faces filled with worry, approached Femi to express their concerns. "Your Majesty," one elder said respectfully, "we're worried about what's happening. Releasing Kuti and Amma would be the right thing to do." Femi's eyes flashed with anger. "If you don't stop," he warned fiercely, "I'll have you all locked up too." The elders, feeling uneasy, left Femi's presence, troubled by the growing oppression in the kingdom. A few days later, Femi summoned the village elders with a wide grin plastered across his face. "Guess what, everyone? I've found a wife in the neighboring village, and her name is Simi. I want to marry her," he exclaimed, barely containing his excitement. Village elders would journey to the neighboring village to pay Simi's bride price and bring her to the palace for Femi. With determination in their hearts, they set out on their mission, eager to fulfill Femi's wishes and welcome Simi into their community. As they went through the traditional ceremony, they couldn't help but notice that the bride didn't smile once. "Maybe she's just nervous," they whispered to each other, trying to make sense of her somber demeanor. Finally, with the bride price settled, the elders escorted Simi back to the palace. Femi's eyes lit up with joy at the sight of her. "She's even more beautiful than I imagined," he exclaimed, his heart brimming with happiness at the thought of beginning a new chapter of his life with Simi by his side. As weeks turned into months, Femi grew increasingly concerned about Simi's demeanor. Not once did she smile, and this weighed heavily on Femi's heart. He couldn't shake the feeling of unease, so he summoned Simi's parents to the palace to inquire about her condition. To Femi's surprise, Simi's parents revealed a heartbreaking truth. Simi had never smiled since birth. "How could you keep this from me?" Femi asked, his voice filled with astonishment. "We're deeply sorry, Your Majesty," Simi's parents explained. "You see, Simi has faced rejection and disappointment from many suitors in the past because of her condition. We understand if you no longer wish to keep her as your wife." But Femi, blinded by Simi's beauty and determined to find a solution, reassured them. "No, I will not abandon her," he declared firmly. "I will find a way to bring joy to her life." With unwavering determination, Femi vowed to stand by Simi's side and seek a remedy for her condition. He refused to let her past experiences define her future, determined to bring happiness to his beloved bride. Femi spared no effort in his quest to bring a smile to Simi's face. He summoned all the village comedians, one after the other, hoping their humor would lighten Simi's spirits. But despite their best efforts and the laughter that filled the palace halls, Simi remained solemn and unyielding. Femi's frustration grew with each failed attempt. Why won't she smile? He wondered, his heart heavy with disappointment. He refused to give up, determined to find the key to unlocking Simi's happiness. As days turned into weeks, Femi continued his search for a solution, seeking advice from wise sages and consulting with healers from distant lands. Yet, despite their wisdom and expertise, they too were unable to offer a remedy for Simi's condition. The next day, all the elders came to the palace to talk about Simi's problem. While discussing, one elder said, "Your Majesty, maybe Amma can help us find a solution." Femi got angry and said, "Don't say her name here. Do you want to be locked up in my cell?" He was very frustrated. After the elders left, Femi couldn't shake off their suggestion. Despite his initial reluctance, he began to consider if Amma held the solution to Simi's problem. Feeling uneasy, Femi requested his guards to release Amma from the cell. They brought her to him, and with humility, he begged her to assist in finding a solution to his wife's troubles. She revealed that only Kuti could make Simi smile. Femi remained, adamant that Kuti would remain his servant. "I won't allow that boy near my wife. He must stay in his place," Femi declared firmly. "The choice is yours, Femi," Amma replied before departing. As Amma departed, Femi pondered her words. "She's trying to manipulate me into freeing Kuti," he mused. "But I won't fall for her schemes. Kuti must remain my servant." Femi then decided to try to make Simi smile. Despite trying hard, Femi couldn't make Simi smile. He told jokes, danced like a clown, and did everything he could think of. But Simi didn't change. Feeling sad, Femi knew he had to do something. "I guess I have to let Kuti go and ask for his help," he said sadly. After releasing Kuti, Femi sought his help to bring a smile to Simi's face. Kuti approached Simi with a warm smile and whispered something in her ear. His words were like magic, for suddenly Simi's face lit up with a radiant smile. Kuti then shared a sweet story with Simi, weaving tales of laughter and joy. He recounted fond memories of their childhood adventures and silly antics, bringing warmth and happiness to the room. Simi's laughter filled the air, a melody of pure delight that lifted everyone's spirits. With Kuti's gentle guidance and infectious humor, Simi's smile grew brighter with each passing moment. As Kuti's words brought a smile to Simi's face, Femi watched from a distance, his heart gripped by jealousy and anger. He couldn't believe how easily Kuti succeeded where he had failed. Kuti, unaware of Femi's growing resentment, continued to entertain Simi. Femi's face tightened with frustration. "Why does Kuti always get everything right?" he muttered to himself. He had danced like a clown, cracked countless jokes, and yet he couldn't make Simi smile. But here was Kuti, effortlessly bringing happiness to her heart. Unable to bear the sight any longer, Femi stormed out of the room. His thoughts were a whirlwind of envy and anger. "I am the king," he fumed. "I should be the one making my wife happy, not Kuti." As the days went by, Simi found herself drawn to Kuti's warmth and kindness. His genuine nature and ability to make her smile filled her heart with affection. Slowly, she realized that she was falling in love with him. Femi, observing the growing closeness between Simi and Kuti, became consumed with jealousy. The sight of Simi's fondness for Kuti ignited a burning anger within him. He couldn't stand the thought of losing her to his brother. One day, Femi's jealousy reached a boiling point. "I can't let this go on any longer," he muttered to himself. Determined to put an end to their bond, he decided to lock Kuti up in the palace cell. As he was about to give the order, Simi stepped forward, her eyes blazing with resolve. "Don't you dare touch him," she exclaimed. "If you try to lock Kuti up, I will leave you and never come back." Femi was taken aback by her words. His anger clashed with a sudden realization. Simi was serious. She would leave him if he harmed Kuti. The thought of losing her completely shook him to his core. "But Simi, he's trying to come between us," Femi argued, his voice tinged with desperation. Simi's expression softened, but her resolve remained firm. "No, Femi, Kuti has only shown me kindness and made me happy. If you truly care about me, you'll let go of this jealousy and trust me." Femi stood there, conflicted and torn. His jealousy and anger fought against his love for Simi. He knew he couldn't risk losing her, but the thought of Kuti winning her heart was unbearable. After a moment of silence, Femi lowered his head and took a deep breath. "All right, Simi," he said quietly. "I won't harm Kuti. But this isn't easy for me." Simi nodded, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Femi. I hope you understand that Kuti's intentions are pure." As Femi walked away, he couldn't shake off the bitter feeling of jealousy. Determined look on her face. "Femi, I've made a decision," she began, her voice steady but firm. "I am done with this marriage. I have fallen deeply in love with Kuti." Femi's eyes widened with shock and anger. "You mean you want to leave me for my brother? That's not possible. I won't let that happen," he shouted, his face turning red with fury. But Simi stood her ground. "I have made up my mind, Femi. There is nothing you can do to change it," she said calmly but resolutely. Femi clenched his fists, his mind racing with thoughts of betrayal and loss. "How could you do this to me, after everything we've been through?" he demanded, his voice trembling with a mix of rage and hurt. Simi looked at him with sadness in her eyes. "Femi, our marriage was never built on love. You know that. Kuti has shown me what true love feels like, and I can't deny my feelings for him." Femi's anger boiled over. "No, I won't let you leave me for Kuti. He's my brother, and you are my wife." Simi shook her head, tears welling up in her eyes. "Femi, you can't force me to stay. Love can't be commanded or controlled. I've made my choice, and it's Kuti." In a fit of rage, Femi stormed out of the room, leaving Simi standing there, heartbroken yet resolute in her decision. Over the next few days, Femi tried everything he could think of to win Simi back. He showered her with gifts, promised her a better life, and even threatened Kuti. But nothing worked. Simi's heart belonged to Kuti, and she wouldn't change her mind. Femi then called Kuti to tell him to leave his wife alone. To his surprise, Kuti stood his ground. "Never. I have already given up my throne for you. Now you want me to leave Simi, the only woman I have ever loved?" "No, I won't do that," Kuti declared firmly. His eyes were filled with determination, showing that he was ready to fight for what he believed was right. "You must be joking," Femi said, his voice filled with anger and disbelief. "How dare you defy me, your elder brother? I am the king, and you are my servant. You will do as I say." Femi's frustration was palpable, his fists clenched in rage. But Kuti remained unfazed, his love for Simi giving him the strength to stand up to Femi. The tension between the brothers grew, their relationship strained to the breaking point. The confrontation was intense, with Femi's anger contrasting sharply with Kuti's calm determination. Kuti's refusal to back down only fueled Femi's fury. As the argument continued, it became clear that this was not just about Simi, but about deeper issues between the brothers. Femi felt betrayed, and Kuti felt unjustly treated. A few days later, while Femi and his guards were away, Simi decided it was time to follow her heart. She packed her belongings quickly and quietly, not wanting to attract any attention. With determination in her steps, she left the palace and made her way to Kuti's house, eager to live with the one she truly loved. When Femi returned home and found Simi gone, his reaction was explosive. He stormed through the palace, shouting in anger and disbelief. "Where is she? Where is Simi?" he bellowed, his voice echoing through the halls. His guards looked at each other nervously, unsure of how to respond to the king's fury. Femi's face was a mask of rage as he searched every corner of the palace, but it was clear that Simi had left for good. "She left me for Kuti," he yelled, slamming his fist against a wall. "How could she do this to me, after everything I've done?" His anger quickly turned into a vow for revenge. "I will make Kuti pay for this," Femi swore, his eyes blazing with hatred. "He thinks he can take everything from me, but he will regret this. I will make sure of it." With a heart full of bitterness and a mind set on vengeance, Femi began plotting his next move against his brother. The rivalry between them had reached a new level, and Femi was determined to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. Femi, consumed by anger and jealousy, decided he would declare war on his brother Kuti to reclaim Simi. His thoughts were filled with rage and bitterness. "Kuti has taken everything from me," he muttered to himself. "First my throne, and now my wife. I won't stand for it." However, before he could put his plan into action, the old seer of the village came to him. Her eyes, filled with wisdom and compassion, bore into Femi's. "You must not harm your brother," she warned him, her voice firm yet gentle. "You took his throne, you imprisoned him, and now you wish to bring further harm upon him. If you do, disaster shall befall you." Femi's rage momentarily subsided, replaced by confusion and frustration. "But he has taken Simi from me," he protested, his voice trembling with emotion. "Simi is too beautiful. She is the love of my life. I can't just let her go like that." The seer shook her head, her expression sorrowful. "True love cannot be won through force or anger, Femi. You must understand that trying to control others will only lead to your own downfall. Let go of your hatred and find peace within yourself." As the seer left, her words echoed in Femi's mind. He was still mad, unable to fully grasp the wisdom she had imparted. "I wonder what Kuti is doing with my wife right now," he thought bitterly. "Simi is too precious to lose." Despite the seer's warnings and his own attempts to find peace, Femi couldn't let go of his jealousy and anger. Desperate to break Kuti and Simi apart, he sought out a native doctor known for his powerful charms. "I need you to make Kuti and Simi hate each other," Femi demanded, his voice filled with desperation. The native doctor nodded, agreeing to help Femi. He prepared a powerful charm, instructing Femi to place it near Kuti and Simi without their knowledge. Femi did as he was told, hopeful that the charm would finally end their relationship. But days turned into weeks, and the charm didn't work. Kuti and Simi's love only seemed to grow stronger. Frustrated and defeated, Femi realized that his attempts to manipulate their feelings had failed. He couldn't break their bond through trickery or force. He knew he had to take a different approach. Swallowing his pride, Femi decided to beg for Kuti's forgiveness and offer him something he thought would be irresistible. Femi went to Kuti, his heart heavy with guilt and regret. "Kuti," he began, his voice trembling, "I will give you back the throne. Please, just give up Simi. I can't bear to see you with her." Kuti looked at Femi, a mixture of pity and resolve in his eyes. "No, Femi," he said firmly. "I have already given up the throne for you. Now you want me to give up Simi, the only woman I have ever truly loved. Never. I would choose Simi over the throne any day." Femi was stunned by Kuti's response. He had expected his brother to jump at the chance to reclaim his position as king. But Kuti's love for Simi was unwavering, and he refused to be swayed by power or titles. "But Kuti," Femi pleaded, desperation creeping into his voice. "I can't live without her. Please, I'm begging you." Kuti shook his head, his expression softening. "Femi, love cannot be forced. You need to find peace within yourself and move on. Simi and I are happy together, and I won't let anything come between us." Femi was desperate. He wanted both the throne and Simi, and he was willing to do whatever it took to get them. So he traveled to a faraway village, seeking the help of a powerful native doctor. When he arrived at the native doctor's shrine, the air was thick with incense, and the walls were adorned with strange symbols. The native doctor, an old man with piercing eyes, greeted Femi with a knowing look. "I sense danger in your heart," the native doctor said, his voice low and ominous. Femi, driven by his obsession, quickly explained his plight. "I need charms that can kill Kuti. He has taken everything from me, my honor and my love. I need to get them back." The native doctor nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of Femi's request. He disappeared into a dark room and returned with a small, mysterious pouch. "These are powerful charms," the native doctor warned, handing the pouch to Femi. "But be careful. They carry great risk and can bring unforeseen consequences." Femi, blinded by his desire, barely registered the warning. He thanked the native doctor and made his way back to his village, clutching the pouch tightly. As he traveled home, his mind raced with plans to execute his deadly scheme. When Femi returned to the village, he began to set his plan in motion. He decided to host a grand feast, inviting both Kuti and Simi. The villagers were excited about the feast, seeing it as a gesture of goodwill from their king. Femi made sure the preparations were perfect, knowing that this was his chance to rid himself of Kuti once and for all. On the day of the feast, the palace was filled with laughter and music. Long tables were set up, laden with delicious food and drinks. Kuti and Simi arrived, smiling and unaware of Femi's sinister intentions. Femi greeted them warmly, masking his true feelings behind a facade of brotherly affection. As the feast progressed, Femi carefully slipped the deadly charm into Kuti's food. He watched with bated breath as Kuti took his seat and began to eat. The moment felt like an eternity, and Femi's heart pounded in his chest. He was filled with a mix of anticipation and dread. Kuti took a few bites of the food, and for a moment, nothing happened. Femi began to doubt the effectiveness of the charm, fearing that his plan had failed. But then, Kuti's face contorted in pain, and he clutched his stomach. The room fell silent as everyone turned to see what was happening. Simi rushed to Kuti's side, panic in her eyes. "Kuti, what's wrong?" she cried, her voice trembling with fear. Kuti struggled to speak, his voice weak. "I don't know. I feel so much pain," he managed to say before collapsing to the ground. Chaos erupted in the hall as villagers rushed to help Kuti. Femi stood frozen, his mind racing. He had wanted this moment, but seeing his brother in such agony brought a pang of guilt and regret. Despite the best efforts of those around him, Kuti's condition worsened. The charm was doing its deadly work, and there seemed to be no hope for his recovery. Simi, tears streaming down her face, held Kuti's hand, begging him to stay with her. "Stay with me, Kuti. Don't leave me," she sobbed, her heart breaking. Kuti, through his pain, looked at Simi with love in his eyes. "I will always love you, Simi," he whispered, his voice barely audible, "no matter what happens." As Kuti's life slipped away, Femi was overwhelmed with a mix of emotions. His desire for power had driven him to commit a terrible act, and now he was faced with the consequences of his actions. The guilt and remorse he felt were almost too much to bear. Realizing that he had gone too far, Femi fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "What have I done?" he cried out, his voice filled with anguish. "I have lost my brother and the respect of my people. How can I ever make amends for this?" Simi, devastated by Kuti's death, turned her gaze to Femi. "You did this," she said, her voice trembling with anger and sorrow. "You let your greed and jealousy destroy everything. How could you?" Femi had no answer. He had been consumed by his own desires, and now he was left with nothing but regret. Amidst the sadness and tears, a mysterious old man they had never seen before appeared. He said he was sent by the gods to bring Kuti back to life. With strange words and a gentle touch, he called Kuti's name 3 times. And miraculously, Kuti opened his eyes and sat up, alive again. Everyone cheered, amazed at what they had just witnessed. But the old man's visit wasn't just about Kuti. He turned to Femi, his eyes serious. "You," he said, "have caused a lot of pain with your jealousy and tricks." Femi felt a chill run down his spine as the old man pointed his staff at him. "For your bad actions," the old man continued, "you'll be sent away to the evil forest, and you can't come back." Femi pleaded, but the guards took him away, his voice fading as he disappeared into the distance. Kuti thanked the old man, feeling grateful for his second chance at life. But the old man said it wasn't him who saved Kuti. It was the gods. With a kind smile, he vanished into the forest. As Kuti watched him go, he knew things would be different from now on. With joy in their hearts, Kuti and Simi celebrated their love with a grand wedding ceremony. The village was adorned with colorful decorations as everyone came together to witness their union. Amidst the music and dancing, Kuti and Simi exchanged vows, promising to love and support each other for eternity. As the sun set on their wedding day, Kuti ascended to the throne as the rightful king, with Simi by his side as his queen. Together, they ruled the kingdom with wisdom and compassion. Bringing prosperity and happiness to all their subjects, the villagers rejoiced in their new king and queen, grateful for their benevolent leadership and the harmony they brought to the land. And as Kuti and Simi looked out over their kingdom, they knew that their love had triumphed over all obstacles, forever binding them together in a bond stronger than any charm or curse. Dear viewers, if you found this story captivating, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends. Turn on post notifications to stay updated on our future uploads. Stay blessed.